In negotiations, we all want it our way. I want to win. The buyer wants to win. I want it my way. The buyer wants it his way. How do we find win-win? It's not easy. It's not natural, but it's doable. And we'll talk about it next on Purpose Under Pressure. Well, welcome back. My name is Brian, and this is Purpose Under Pressure. It's a podcast about developing sales and leadership success on purpose and under pressure. And it's brought to you by the professional sales and leadership training team at Sandler by the Ruby Group. You'll find them in Akron and in Columbus, Ohio. They're in Jacksonville, Florida. They're in Capital Region, New York. They do their work on purpose because you and your team are under pressure. You need that kind of guidance because things are going to get hard. Things are going to get difficult. Things are going to get out of control a little bit. And you're going to have to make some decisions. You do that on purpose. You do it for a reason. Everything you do, the way you sell, the way you represent yourself, the deals that you close, the people you work with, it's all got to be part of the plan. That's purpose under pressure. Even when it's hard, you're doing things the right way. That's why I like the fact that Sandler by the Ruby Group sponsors this show. It all kind of goes together. I encourage you to reach out to them. You can connect with Sandler by the Ruby Group online at therubygroup.sandler.com. The Ruby Group, developing stronger sales teams for tougher conversations. So let's get cooking. There's two books that I've read in my lifetime more than any other book, and it's by far the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I just love it. Every time I read it, I mean, it's big, I know, but every time I read it, it opens up new ideas and new storylines and a new depth of character and new imagination. It's just amazing. The second book that I've read many, many, many times, I think 7 or 8, maybe 9 times, it's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I just think the genius of that book is that those 7 habits, if you're familiar with them at all, those 7 habits are impossible to ever master. You can try, but you're just not going to do well all the time. You're going to forget. They go against the grain of being human. We're human. And so by nature, we are flawed. And those 7 habits are a model of being flawless. We can't live up to them. And so we reread it and try to get better, but we can try. We can't always succeed. One of my favorite ideas in the book, one of the favorite habits is seek win-win. Good for me, good for you, we're good. Any other combination, good for me, bad for you, bad for me, not good for either one of us, that's a no-go. It's a non-starter. We're not going to go there. We say no. And in sales, here's where I'm getting to with this. When we're in negotiations, we want to look for those win-win opportunities. Those are the best deals to get involved in. Good for me, good for you. Let's do the deal. Sounds great, but that's not how it works. That's not natural. The whole idea of winning means that someone has to lose, no matter what we taught our kids in the 90s. And that's on us, folks. Not everyone gets a trophy. We are negotiating. I'm going to want to hold on to my end. The buyer's going to want to hold on to his side. We both want to win, and that requires a loss. How do we negotiate to a win-win outcome? For example, if a win for me means I get paid more if I increase my margin, then I'm going to hold on to the price. But if a win for the buyer means that they get to come under budget, those two don't go together. You can't both have that. What if the buyer wants to push the project off to next fiscal year, but you need the deal done this month to meet your quota and get your bonus? You can't both have your way. Someone's got to win. Someone's got to lose. What if you need the higher price and the early deal and your buyer needs your service so bad that they just give in and take all of your demands? You win, they lose. No deal, right? But I know you're going to take that deal. So what I'm getting at here, win-win sounds good, but you as a salesperson have to push the envelope. There are ways to make these issues win-win, but it's going to take some work. It's not just natural. And who has to do that work? You. It's on you as the salesperson to make it happen. It's not on the buyer. Win-win is on you. Why? Well, because you're the salesperson. You're the professional. You're the one watching this podcast wanting to be a professional salesperson. It's on you. It's your responsibility. You're responsible for the deal. You're in charge. Win-win is on you. Now, one way you can negotiate win-win is to hold your ground, but raise the ground of the buyer, right? You hold your price, but maybe there's somewhere that isn't so important to you that you can give some ground on. I can't go lower, but what if I could do this that would help solve this other problem that you brought up without any extra money involved? How about we figure out a payment plan to fit into your fiscal needs? Try this one, folks. This one ain't working. We're heading towards a deal, but this is lose-lose for both of us. Neither one of us is getting our way here. Let's just reset, or maybe let's just stop. You ever try that? I see that this deal is going to crush your budget, Mr. Buyer. Maybe we should look at this again in a few months when it's better suited for you. That's not natural. That's not how we negotiate, but it is win-win, and it ought to be what we go for. In each case, you're making sure that the buyer comes out a winner. They all put the deal in risk. Every one of these outcomes puts the deal in risk. I mean, you could just close up and move on, but it's not win-win. If the buyer caves and you win, that's called win-lose. And even if they aren't upset about it now, they will be later. She's going to want something. Remember that deal we did, Brian? You owe me one. No one wants that. By the way, pro tip, if the buyer doesn't negotiate at all and just says yes to everything, that's a deal you'll regret making for a long time, even if it feels win-win at the time, even if they seem happy. If they're not pushing back, that's a deep hole that you're stepping into, because either they're not paying attention or they just don't care enough in the first place to make a good deal. It's on you to figure out a way to find some resistance. Push back a little bit until you find it. It's on you to find that. So anyway, that's worth what you paid for, right? Or maybe another example, maybe you caved and your buyer won. You got the deal, but the buyer got the best end of it. You think he won't try to do that again next time the negotiation comes around? He went for lose-win. You lose, he wins. He's going to go after it again. You've got to hold your end up. You've got to get a win. In every situation that I've described above, a deal is getting done. Hands are getting pumped. Fists are getting bumped. Commissions are being paid, but they're not win-win deals, and you'll pay for them somewhere along the line. I'll give you an example of a win-win in negotiation. I saw this happen. This is a real story in a negotiation over a house. The seller says, I'll tell you right now, I wasn't going to sell for any less than this. The buyer said, well, I wasn't going to buy for any more than this. The price the buyer set was actually higher than the floor the seller set. And you know what they did? They met in the middle. What? Yes. Run that back. Listen to that again. They met in the middle. Seller got a little more than he wanted. Buyer paid a little less than he was willing to, but more than he had to. They went for win freaking win. And I tell you what, try that one on for size. That's how you make a good deal. Everybody wins. Look, it's in our blood to win. I know that. It's how we play the game. But let's not think about negotiations or relationships or business in general as a game. Let's think about these things as personal. Business should be personal. It's what we do with our lives. Otherwise, what are we doing? Let's make business personal. Let's make it win-win, or let's make it no deal. Something to think about next time you get in the war room. Robert Perry, partner and trainer at Sandler by the Ruby Group, is going to be on this podcast later this week to talk about negotiations and about being prepared for what the buyer will do, and so that you're ready to counter and to go for win-win when you can. He calls it the buyer's dirty dozen. It'll help you close more deals, and it'll help you close those deals the right way. So I hope you'll check that out. You'll find that new episode and all past episodes of Purpose Under Pressure at brianmediastrategies.com/podcast and wherever you stream your favorite shows. It's brought to you by the Ruby Group, developing stronger sales teams for tougher conversations. And until next time, no matter how high the pressure gets, go for the win and the win and stay on purpose.